Hey everyone, I did some homework today. Look at this. What in the world are we going to be talking about tonight? Well, I took a challenge that Jan from New York City gave us. Wait till you see what I came up with. Okay, so what challenge am I talking about? So, Jan, if you're listening, I hope you are. I was intrigued by what you had to say. I actually went to bed that night, and then I got a notebook out and I started recording some ideas. And in the interim of her challenge and me putting this on paper, I needed to tell you that it is amazing how I feel God puts people in your path to help solidify things that you're thinking, working on, and so on. So Jan put the challenge out there to have $7 and come up with 9 meals, 2 breakfasts, 2 lunches, and 2 dinners. Three breakfasts, 3 lunches, 3 dinners, 3 days, 3 meals on each day for $7. And at first I thought, oh, piece of cake. What's the big deal? $7. Well, let me tell you, it wasn't a piece of cake because I wrote down my ideas and I was all good on this. And then I wrote down the prices and I checked online. I checked newspaper, advertisements, and I was looking around to see what all the different prices were. And I came up with $802. I'm like, no. Then I got $784. And then I had $712. And then I had $706. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I got to get this at $7. So I had to do it several times and come up with alternatives or a different size or whatever the case might be, but I did it. And in the interim of this, I spoke to somebody yesterday, and in talking, we were talking about the prices of things and the cost of things and, all the rest. And she was telling me how her and her spouse are really struggling, and they are looking for frugal ways to stretch the dollar. And I was telling her about this challenge, and she can't wait to see what I'm going to do. Then I talked to somebody else today, and it was just actually just a little while ago, and I was talking to them, and they were really struggling, and she was telling me there's 3 in their household, and there are times where they almost have no food. And one time, not that long ago, they had flour, I think she said a half a stick of butter, and it might have been eggs, I can't remember. And they ended up making some type of a fry bread with the butter and the flour, and you know how you can do that. You've seen my video. And they had eggs, and they lived on that for a week, and then somebody had made them bran muffins, and she said they ate that, and it was like a gourmet meal, and somebody else gave them something else until they can actually get to the point where they could get back to the store. So these videos are important. There are people out there that cannot afford anything. There are people out there that are truly struggling, and prices are high and all that, and they were struggling before that. There are people that are just trying to get ahead on the bills, so spending all this extra money on food is tough. And there are some of us that also just want to stay frugal. And I said to my husband, I put this menu together, I had him look at it, and I didn't want this menu to be like this cheesy, poor kind of sloppy menu put together. Here you just can eat anything. I really wanted to try and create a menu that, now let me say, for all of you that want fresh fruits and vegetables, whole grains and everything else, you're not going to find that in this menu. On $7, you cannot afford to buy just a bag of vegetables. One bag is going to cost you $7 if you get organic, fresh vegetables. So obviously we can't do that on this budget. But for those people that are needing to stay on a budget, wanting to stay on a budget, $7 for 3 days for a family of 1 or 2, you could do this. And you're going to have leftovers, and I'll tell you that in a moment. You can do this. So maybe take 3 days a week and challenge yourself to only spend the $7 and feed yourself for 3 days and get $7 worth of food and pull it together. And then the other 4 days, you can maybe get a little bit more fresh fruits and fresh vegetables and all the rest of it. So let me show you what I came up with. So the challenge is 9 meals for $7. So if you want to call it man's menu or a frugal menu or whatever you want to call it, I did it. So the challenge was $7. My total came to $6.69. So I have 31 cents left over. Now, granted, these are prices in my area. These are current prices in my area. I checked online. I checked sales papers. I did my homework. I not only did my homework by checking prices, I typed up a spreadsheet. I'm going to see if I can upload this to my blog. If I can, I'll put a link in the description. I don't know if I can do that, just in case anybody wanted to print out a copy to have an idea. So these prices will vary in your area. I can't control that, but at least this gives you ideas. Like, I never thought of that. I love listening to other people and just, getting all kinds of tips and tricks on what they would do. So I'm going to tell you the list of items. I'm going to tell you the price, and then I'm going to show you the menu. All right, you ready for this? So eggs, from my hauls, I got them for 70 cents. A block of cheese is $1.48 currently. A box of macaroni and cheese at Walmart is 34 cents. A can of peas is 50 cents. A loaf of white bread is 50 cents. You saw me on my haul. I showed you the actual picture of when I purchased it, and it was a full loaf of bread. Grits, $1.48. Tuna, 78 cents a can. This is not fancy schmancy tuna. Tomato, 38 cents. And potted meat, which is like devil's ham. You ever get the devil's ham in the can? Like the ham spread? I like it. It's 53 cents. Now, I'm going to apologize ahead of time for all those people that are into grammar and all that stuff. I did not do spell check. I was quickly rushing out the door from work to get home to make dinner for the family, and I didn't do spell check, and I was typing faster than my brain and my fingers, and so there are some typos on here. Tomato, and I forget, and scrambled. So when you see them, give me a little grace. But I wanted to type it so you could actually see it. So the total came to $6.69. $7 was the challenge. I have 31 cents left over. So let me show you this right here. There you go. There are the prices. There is the items. There you go. All right, you ready for my menu? I was pretty impressed with myself. I have to say, I had to try and come up with a creative way. I did not want you to say, "Oh, I have no money and I'm poor," or "I'm trying to be frugal and these menu options are just kind of ugh." I didn't want that. I wanted to try and have a decent style menu for you. Now, this might not be for everybody, but here's what I came up with. So day 1 for breakfast, scrambled eggs and toast. Day 1 for lunch, we're going to have a tomato, slice the tomato, half the tomato. We're only going to do half the tomato. Slice the tomato and cheese sandwich. For dinner that night, we're going to make the box of macaroni and cheese. We're going to use half the can of peas. We're going to save the other half. And we're going to use the whole can of tuna. So you make your macaroni and cheese, you drain half a can of the peas, pour that in, drain the tuna, add the whole tuna, the can of tuna, you mix it all together, and you have a nice casserole, macaroni and cheese, peas and tuna casserole. Now you can also do toast on the side if you wanted to, because with a loaf of bread, you're going to have plenty of bread. If this is for a family of 1, even for a family of 2, I think you'd be able to stretch this out. We have day 2, breakfast. We're going to make some cheese grits. So we're going to use our grits, and we're going to use just a little bit of, you take that block of cheese, maybe a little sliver, and you're going to grate that down. You're going to add that to the grits and make nice cheese grits and some toast on the side. For lunch that day, we're going to make an egg salad sandwich. Remember, we got a dozen eggs. For dinner that night, you're going to take the potted meat, You're going to take half the can of that, and you're going to put that on toast, and you're going to use the other half can of peas to do a side dish. Now we're up to day 3. So for breakfast on day 3, you're going to make a fried egg sandwich. For lunch on day 3, you're going to take the other half of the potted meat that you have, or the devil's ham, whatever, potted meat is the store version of it. And you're going to take a little bit of the cheese that you still have, slice that up thin with the other half of your tomato, and you're going to make a potted meat cheese tomato sandwich. So at least we got a fresh tomato in there. And then day 3 for dinner, we're going to have the leftovers, because our macaroni and cheese, tuna and peas is definitely going to make way more than you could eat for one meal. So we're going to have leftovers of that. Now, with that being said, when we had the fried egg sandwich, you definitely are going to have extra cheese and extra grits left over. So you could add some grits to that. And you could also add it if you wanted to on any of these other meals that we have. So here's my menu. If you can see that. That's for the 3 days for the 9 meals. So we've got day 1, you've got day 2, and you've got day 3. There you go. So with my menu, it was a $7 challenge. I dropped my paper, so hang on a second. $6 and let me see it there, 69 cents. And I came up with this full menu. I don't think that was too bad. I don't think it was too cheesy. I think that was pretty good. So you have scrambled eggs, a fried egg sandwich, egg salad. You've got the potted meat and cheese and tomato sandwich, a tomato and cheese sandwich, the macaroni and cheese, peas and tuna. You're doing pretty good. Now, let me tell you, at the end of this 3 days, you would not have used all your eggs unless you really made like scrambled eggs and you made like, 4 eggs or something. But if you were, living on a frugal and you did 1 or 2 eggs, by the end of the 3 days, you're still going to have leftover eggs. And if you ever looked at grits, how little you need and how far it stretches, we have cheese grits one day. And I think that's all we did, right? Yeah. Hello, Lynn. We could add grits to another day. And that block of cheese can go really far. So you can add some cheese grits, an extra filler. Grits are good for you. It's a good grain. The cheese, you've got your dairy. Man, this is not a bad menu. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Jan from New York City. I'm going to link the original challenge in my description below. Jan, thank you so much for making me think. And I wanted to let you know, and a personal thank you, because I had 2 people come in my pathway since that challenge who are in need of food. And I was able to talk about this challenge, direct them to food banks. And I want to thank you for just looking out for your fellow man and just supporting the fact that people are in need. So thanks so much for coming over. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Oh, I'd love for you to subscribe and see some other videos I have up and coming. If you missed it on my community page, I did post a survey of sorts there of some videos that you might be interested in up and coming videos. I'm scheduling out my spring list of things that I'm going to be doing. So if you have some ideas, suggestions, or things that you want, go over to my community page and check that out. And with that note, we'll close this out. We'll catch you all on the next video.